How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. I'm your host Frenzy, and today we are going to be talking 2024's spring update for Wizard101. Now, for context, February was a really rough month for a lot of people within the Wizard101 community, including myself. A lot of people were giving their grievances, their issues with the game, and were either giving suggestions as to how to improve on current systems, or even just like letting them know, hey, these are some issues. I may not know about the solutions, but I feel like this is something that should be looked upon. And the devs have responded. Now, the devs have responded beyond just this update. They had a couple of dev live streams that, for the most part, seem to be overwhelmingly positive, which is a good sign. We have the Portal of Peril event. Wizards at level 30 and above can revisit past housing gauntlets for free. This event will run for 1 week every month and currently features the Sinbad and Iron Sultan gauntlet, and with more gauntlets being added in the future on a rotation. Now, there's a couple things that I have concerns with. Number one, kind of sucks that it's only level 30. Again, maybe we can get expanded free to play. I will really hope for Arc 1 being free. That would be amazing. But I do feel like if that's not going to be the case, maybe lower down the requirement a bit, maybe like level 12, being where everyone can do an event, right? I believe everyone could do an event as long as they're level 12. I feel like if there's, no expansion of the free-to-play stuff yet, I hope there is one soon. But if not yet, then, we got to tone that down a little bit, in my opinion. And also, I do personally believe, like, if this is going to be an event, the event itself, in my opinion, should be, the once a week per month. But I feel like the concept of being able to do these dungeons should be available every week, in my personal opinion. Now, I'm saying this because I've actually done a lot of the features within this update. The way it works is that it's similar to Decathlon. Each day you get 3 credits. Within those 3 credits, you can utilize them in order to do the dungeon. These are basically like your passes to do the dungeon a specific amount of times. 1 credit per 1 dungeon run. And if it's a week, we're looking at around like maybe 21 runs, because it's 3 credits per day. Within a week, it's like 21. So around 21 runs, right? That's a pretty decent amount of runs, overall. But I do personally feel like this should be like a permanent thing that should stay. But with the rotations coming for a different, gauntlet being released, because from the looks of it, right, once the current gauntlet is gone, there's potentially going to be a new one coming, and the credits that you had saved were meant for the old one, so those get removed, and you'll have to get a new set of credits for the new one, right? So basically, this has potential to be like a permanent kind of like end game-ish content, not necessarily end game, but rather just something for free to play players to have fun with. So I honestly do think that this kind of feature should be like a permanent thing. There is a reward system that comes with it in the Cauldron. You get the reagents at the very end of this from the looks of it, and those reagents can be used to craft some stuff like gold skeleton keys. Now, I do think the amount is a little too much and should be scaled down quite a bit. And I also do think that, again, more options should be added for potential farming methods, right? So like rematch dungeons should be an option for you to be able to potentially farm gold skeleton keys. We have a level scaling system now, so we should have it to where the bosses within those final worlds, in those final dungeons, should give you an opportunity to potentially get gold skeleton keys as well, because now you're scaled down. But that's just my opinion. The Portal of Peril basically has 3 tiers, 50, 100, and 150. Apparently 150, which is the newest one, has some variations. So my guess is, I don't know, it's like a shiny in Pokemon, like more collectibles, maybe some new mechanics or so, who knows. But there's at least, some variations of the traditional one. So again, basically a potential collectible. And it works with an upscaling kind of system. So let's say, for example, you have a level 50, 90, 150, and a 170. The dungeon you'll be getting is the max tier, being the 150 tier. Let's say, for example, you had a couple level 50s and a level 90. Chances are you'll probably be getting the level 50 tier, just because the level 90 is under level 100, right? So that's just going to be how it works. But essentially, really cool feature. Maybe there could be some improvements. I have a lot of questions still, for sure. But overall, pretty cool. Library Gauntlet. I've done this once. Pretty cool gauntlet. Pretty fun. Some puzzles, and it seems like the puzzles change every run. Gear is fine. Not a big fan of the cosmetics all that much. I do think that the robe, from what I've been told, is a decent replacement for Nullity robe. So for the non-raiders out there, you have a potential chance of getting this. It also runs with the Wallaroo system, which is definitely like a way better system in comparison to the Nova system of farming for the Pity system. So once again, pretty solid. Pixie Post. If you spend 250 crowns, gold, 250 gold, you can send a private message to a person that will not just absolutely disappear. This is actually going to be really good for, you know, planning and scheduling. Quest Finder. This is a feature that I actually do really enjoy for sure myself. The Quest Finder, basically, biggest issue that I have with Wiz is a lot of people within the general population of Wiz players, the average player, they're mostly focused on the new thing. They're focused on Wallaroo right now. So a lot of them are in Wallaroo. Any worlds previous is kind of like a barren wasteland. But now there's a potential chance you can actually meet some players questing around your same level, and you can request to be your questing buddy, which is really nice. I think it's a really good feature overall. Now, the way it works is that you need to make sure you're a friendly player. If you're not a friendly player, you won't get access to the feature. And then you have some options as well. If you say yes, then you're added to a group and you'll be teleported to them. If you say no, you won't be asked again for 24 hours. And some other things that players might have issues with have been, for the most part, addressed. Like, for example, ignore players won't be asked, so like they won't be able to ask you. If you're busy with modes like PvP or Beastman that require more of your attention, you won't be spammed with this. Actually, they won't even be able to ask you at all. And also, they want to let you know that they're going to be looking for players that are closest to your level first. They don't want to have players who are over-leveled within the area, because chances are they probably don't want to quest with you. They have the friendly player feature on, but they may not just want to quest with you. Or they just don't have the time to, because they're focusing on the new thing. Maybe they're doing like a daily assignment or something. But yeah, overall, really good feature. I like it. Spell Card Inspect. Now, basically, a lot of people were kind of confused with this, but all you have to do is hit Control, left click, or right click on the spell, and you'll be given like an extra little tab here where it'll show you the opportunity to be able to hover your cursor on the highlighted portion, being the verb, which is the mechanic of the specific spell. In this case, the example is Clear, which removes hanging effects that benefits the target for the effect that benefits the caster. So, in short, you know, blades that benefit the target can be removed so that there are now weaknesses on that target that benefit myself, right? That's basically how it works. And in the Gambit's kind of like the vice versa. Basically, the only issue I have with this is really just the fact that I feel like there should be like a worded version of this, like maybe at another tab within this tab, you can have like a worded version given like a word description as to how the spell works. I think that will be kind of nice. It's still a work in progress because I do see that some spells are a little bit inconsistent for sure still. And I think for me, the most confusing thing will probably be the overtime gambits, like the overtime conditionals and everything. I think for me, those are the most confusing in my opinion. Some spells still kind of confuse me, but I'm slowly but surely getting the hang of understanding it. So overall, I think this is good. I believe they said this is still a work in progress, so hopefully some things improve. If I have a suggestion, my suggestion will probably be have a worded description. Have an option for like a worded description. I don't personally think that you should be able to utilize this feature in, you know, combat, because obviously you have a very limited amount of time to cast a spell. And the whole point of this is for you to just like experiment, but now experiment with some knowledge being given to you instead of just knowledge that is assumed that you know. So I think this is good overall. Again, some changes can be made, but overall this is good, and I'm glad we have this feature. Badge improvements. Now, we do have the extra credit badges, which I believe are discontinued badges that won't be affected by leaderboards. And speaking of leaderboards, you also have a badge leaderboard, which there's an NPC named Goldcap in the Arcanum, which could give you an insight as to where your placing is out of all the wizards in terms of your badge collecting, and it will also show you the top players that have the most amount of badges. I think this is cool. Not necessarily a feature that a lot of people have asked for, but it's a really cool feature nevertheless, and I love it. Another thing as well, Speedster actually talked about this. I've actually talked about this myself as well. In Honkai Star Rail or Genshin Impact, if you complete a specific achievement, you get yourself premium currency. In Honkai Star Rail, it's Stellar Jades. In Genshin, it's Primo Gems. So that's like an extra reward you get for doing an achievement. In Wiz, they decided that the reward will be a gold skeleton key, which is solid. And it seems that it's not account-wide. It's character-based. So I think that this is actually really solid. This is actually a really solid and awesome, incentive for players who want to collect badges, can collect badges and get some rewards for it. Do I recommend doing it for the sake of skeleton keys? No. But it's a nice little extra incentive for you to obtain some badges. And I think it's cool. This is really solid. Once again, like I said before, we still need to add some more efficient farming methods, but other than that, solid overall. I like it. And my only critique with this is really just the fact that I think that the Goldcap NPC should be moved from the Arcanum to Wizard City or maybe Ravenwood, an area where everyone has access to. But that's like the only critique I have for this. Then we have Arc 2 Spellements, which is actually really freaking awesome. I like it because now they're opening up on the restrictions in terms of what you can farm for, right? So I think overall this is a good thing. I still have some questions because I don't understand the system fully, and it's mainly because I haven't really touched much on the Scales of Knowledge, but we'll be going into that in just a sec. Basically now, 7 pip to the 10 pip spells are available for, Arc 2 Spellements, and Chrysalis being exclusive for the King Artoria spells, which is awesome. These could be obtained through, various methods, and the farming method is now basically available to every player, which is good. The reason why that's the case is because of the Scales of Knowledge. Before I talk about the Scales of Knowledge though, I do want to say, King Artorias for PvE can be very useful for pretty much every class except for Storm. And it's only just because enemies don't really heal over time much, so you may not get as much of use as a Storm. But some spells are good, some spells not so great, but overall, really cool. Scales of Knowledge. Now, you're able to farm for Arc 1 and Arc 2 Spellements as a higher level if you happen to have Scales of Knowledge. Scales of Knowledge will provide you an elixir which will downscale your level to fit the level that you're farming at, and from the looks of it, it is available in these various locations: Temple of Storms, Big Ben, etc, etc. These seem to be like the final areas of each respected world. I'm not too sure if that's necessarily 100% a good or a bad thing, because there are some bosses that are available outside the final dungeons, but maybe these final dungeons give all the Spellements. I don't know. Again, I probably should have tested this out, but overall, I think this is really neat, so can't wait to see more. They said that they haven't really had an endgame tutorial yet to explain further how the system works, so we'll just have to wait till maybe next week and see how it goes. We also have cross-training. Pretty controversial for some people because a lot of people argue that it destroys school identity. I'm on the train that it's really good overall because now everyone gets an opportunity to just have the freedom to do whatever they want with the spells, which I think is awesome. And school identity, in my opinion, I feel like is being expanded with the Rochambeau system. Some people like it, some people don't. But I do feel like overall, this is a good thing for a lot of people, in my personal opinion. And there's also the selected target system, which is basically a new system for the AoEs. I think some of them are still bugged, so they're probably looking into it now. But before then, we had the divided damage system, which is the Mirage spells, or some of the 4-pip spells that were available only through Beast Moon. basically being like from one enemy being 405 damage to 4 enemies being 101. In the selected target system, we have from 1 enemy 405 to 4 enemies being 175. So still a damage nerf for the sake of utility, but it's not as major as it was before, which is really good. I like it. We also have more Astrology, cosmetic items you can equip, and they're, I think, randomized if you're interested in reading about this. Beastman forms, in case you guys are interested, being Ice Ninja Pig, Storm Cyclops. Rotation, currently. Some advanced content changes. All top path AoEs are banned. Just some bans and stuff. And then some changes to actual advanced content spells. So like Banshee now is only infections rather than 2 infections and 2 weaknesses. Unfortunate, because I really did like the Banshee, but I understand why. It's because it's super broken for PvP. Kraken becomes basically like the new Stormzilla. Stormzilla basically becomes like the new Kraken, except the blade's better. Evil Snowman actually got a lot better because now it's a set shield that it gives you for clearing 2 negative charms. Really good. Hydra, Colossus Phoenix, and Glimpse of Infinity have been changed as well. So some really good stuff happening for sure. Some guild changes to those who are interested. The cap space has been increased to 60. Good. There's an appointment system for guilds as well. Cool. The guild cooldown now starts when you join a guild instead of when you leave. Thank the Lord. And also, if you happen to have the guild cooldown, it will be displayed on the guild tab, which is also good. And players can now create a guild at level 100. So again, solid overall. Some additional stuff like the Azteca raid being added to added 5 minutes to the Azteca raid. Arch Mastery pet talent being added to upcoming pets. Again, I don't know. I don't necessarily think 100% you can Arch Mastery tune. Like, I don't think that's a thing, because like in Starro, for example, that is a thing, because all you have to do is just remove a gear piece, give it to someone else, but you could still bring back that gear piece if you want it back. With Arch Mastery, it's like, hey, you gotta sock it, you gotta remove it, and it's gone forever. So, not as great. But, again, this could be good. Maybe. Not too sure. But overall, I will have to say, this update is pretty solid. I will have to give it a 9 out of 10. I can't wait to see more. I have some issues with it, but there's actually not a lot that I have issues with it for sure. They're just like fairly small things, and some things that maybe devs should be considering for the future. But other than that, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Once again, you guys should still keep up with giving your feedback to developers, and there's a lot of things that can still be improved. So, you know, let's just make sure that our voices are heard. It's very important. And to anyone who was watching, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video of me just going over through the updates. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and always remember, to everyone watching, to stay frenzy. And peace.